Sleep can be a wonderful thing. For a whole night, you can just relax and take a break from life. Some of us have very vivid dreams nearly every night, and some of us almost never dream of anything. Whereas a lot of dreams can be amazing and have you not wanting to wake up from them, there's also a much darker side to dreams. These are my 5 worst recurring nightmares. 5. Spiders have always been one of my biggest fears, so obviously I would have a lot of nightmares about them. There's one period in my life where I'd have nightmares about spiders every single day, but now I rarely have any dreams about them. I remember one in particular where I was inside of a room and was completely alone except for the presence of a huge green spider. I spent the majority of the dream running away from the spider and trying to climb up on objects, but no matter where I went, the hideous green spider followed me. Another dream I had, which wasn't necessarily about spiders, was probably the most terrifying. In the dream, my friend was holding a giant bug that was about the size of like a 2-liter Coke bottle. He would be chasing me around with it, and I was running away. At one point, he finally caught up, and he put the bug on my back. I remember very vividly feeling the bug very quickly scurrying up my back and onto my neck. The second it reached my neck, I woke up, terrified. 4. This is a pretty common dream that I had when I was younger, and a lot of you probably won't understand it. This is extremely difficult to explain because I really don't understand the dream at all myself. So I'd have a dream about something completely random that is not scary in any way at all whatsoever. Even in the dream, I don't feel scared even the slightest, because there's nothing to be afraid of. But then, when I wake up, I feel so scared to the point where I can't really fall back to sleep, and I have no idea why. I'll give you 2 examples of this. In one dream, I was walking around my neighborhood at night, and it must have been during the winter since there was snow on the ground. As I'm walking, I see a large animatronic angel thing with lights on it. Once again, the animatronic was not scary in any way at all. I just looked at it for a second, and then I continued walking. A few seconds later, I woke up, and for some unknown reason, I was too scared to go back to sleep. In another dream that I had, I was inside of my house, and I walked downstairs. In the living room, there was a taxidermied bear. Now, I'm not afraid of bears, and I'm not afraid of anything that's taxidermied, and once again, I wasn't scared at all while I was still in the dream. But once I woke up, I was terrified. I have no idea why, and these may be the strangest recurring dreams I've ever had. 3. I used to have this dream all the time when I was younger, but now I can't remember the last time I ever actually dreamt of this. Anyways, the dream would consist of total isolation. In one dream that I remember, I was walking through my house looking for someone, but no one was there. So later, I walked outside, and I was in a city-like setting, but it was completely deserted. I would wander around looking for anyone else who was around, but I never found anyone. The dream always gave me an extremely dreadful feeling of being completely alone. I always felt really grateful when I woke up to find out that it was only a dream. 2. I already know some of you are going to make fun of me for this one, but I figured I would include it since this is probably my most recent recurring nightmare I've had. As you may or may not know, the video Obey the Walrus seriously freaked me out. It's probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. You know, screamer videos aren't that terrifying, and even the goriest of videos out there really aren't that scary. But Obey the Walrus seriously freaked me out. Now, there was one time when I went a full week where every single day I would have a nightmare. But the last time I had this dream was probably like 2 months ago. The dreams would always start like this. I'd be laying in my bed at night on my phone. I'd be searching for something on my phone, but in some way I would come across the Obey the Walrus video or something related to it, like Sandy Crisp or Johnny Bama or something like that. At this point, I would hear something walking in my hallway, and then my bedroom door starts opening. At this point, I would wake up. Out of all the times I've ever had this dream, the door never fully opened. I never got to see if it was actually the person from Obey the Walrus standing there, and I'm really glad that I've always woken up before that point. 1. This dream is going to be placed at number 1 because it's the very first nightmare I've ever had in my entire life. When I was very little, I had this nightmare almost every single night for literally years. A lot of you might not understand why this is scary, but you have to hear me out. The dream would consist of me being endlessly tickled. Now, I know that you think that this might not be all that scary, but it was really terrifying for me. When I was being chased in the dream, I was never in fear of being killed or anything like that, but rather I was in fear of being tickled. The person that would be tickling me would be different every single time. Sometimes it would be a life-size stuffed animal or doll, sometimes it would be a cartoon character, and sometimes it would be something that I don't recall ever seeing before. The entire dream I would just be at the mercy of whoever was tickling me until I woke up. I rarely ever have this dream now. In fact, I don't think I've had this dream at all for years now. But when I was little, this was the scariest thing ever. I would literally be afraid to go to sleep every single night because I knew that I was going to have this dream. Even now, when I see a scary picture of something online, or like a scary person or some scary creature or something like that, I never think about how it might harm me or anything like that, but I always think how terrible it would be to be tickled by it. So these are my worst recurring nightmares, so tell me if you guys have ever had any nightmares about any of the things that I listed, and also feel free to leave in the comments any terrifying nightmares that you remember having. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.